What is up, YouTube? Here to talk about Hell in a Cell 2014. So we're just going to start off with the main event and just bounce around, talk about the most important stuff, and then end up with the least important stuff. So first off, we got Dean Ambrose taking on Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins took this one, and it was a pretty good match. A lot of different high spots, and what this match probably be most remembered for is Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins falling off, not off the top of the cell, but like halfway through the cell, and they fell, and they both landed on an announce table. So what happened was Dean Ambrose came out first, and he started on top of the cage after he was in the cage and started throwing some crap in the ring, and then he went up top. And then Seth didn't want to go up there, so he sent Noble and Mercury up there. And Dean had a Singapore cane, so he started whipping both of their asses, and Seth came up, and then he started attacking them, and so then they fought on top of the cage for a little bit. Then Seth started climbing down the cage, and Dean went after him. So then they're both like halfway on the cage, like, you know, well, you can watch the video, and you'll know what I'm talking about. They're like halfway on the cage, halfway up or down the cage, whatever you want to say. And so they were fighting, and they did like a headbutt, and they both fell off. And the Seth one was pretty cool, but Dean was kind of, forced because he kind of like jumped a long ways to fall on the announce table. It was a very cool visual to see. So then they were both put on the stretchers, and then it was actually a pretty long time. So I was like, wait a minute, is this match not even going to take place? And I checked my phone. I was like, oh, it's 7:40, so there's going to be 20 minutes left. So I was like, this is going to suck if this ends like this. But then Dean came back to life and got off the stretcher, and then went to go attack Seth, who was on a stretcher getting wheeled out. And so then he threw Seth back into the ring, and the match officially started. And the official match was actually a pretty good match. They had a couple high spots. Both of them went through a table, and Kane got involved. He took a fire extinguisher and sprayed it in Dean Ambrose's eyes. And some other stuff, but it looked like Seth was going to get his head curb stomped or something through the cinder blocks of his own. And then Dean was like walking back, about to go off the ropes and do it, and then like the lights went out black. It was like a long time. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then like some person started mumbling some, like, I don't know if it's like some sort of gibberish. And then he kept on doing it and doing it. I was like, oh, this must be Bray Wyatt. As it just kept on, the phrase that he was saying just kept on getting repeated over and over and over again. I was like, what the hell's going on? So then finally, the comes back on. It's not, the lights don't come on, but the camera comes on or something. And so you see Dean, and then there's the lantern in the middle of the ring, and and then smoke starts coming up, and then like a hologram. It's kind of like the Tupac hologram. So when I guess it's Sister Abigail, but it was like some like ghostly spirits all saying, "Oh, it's Tupac." It looked just like the Tupac hologram. But so then that happened, and then Dean was looking at it, and then all of a sudden Bray Wyatt came out of nowhere and ran and attacked Dean and started whooping his ass. And then he hit a move. I don't think it was Sister Abigail, but he did something, and then he was just Bray Wyatt was just kneeling down, just looking at the lantern, and then Seth slithered over and covered Dean for the 1, 2, 3. So Seth really didn't do anything in this match, but it looks like maybe Bray Wyatt's going corporate, or he's just crazy because he's Bray Wyatt, but we're just going to have to stick it in tune and find out. I was a really big fan of this. I was like, oh, this sucks. But I really don't know what's going to happen, if this means it's going to be a Dean Ambrose-Bray Wyatt feud, or Dean Ambrose is going to be thrown into the feud. Because I don't think Roman Reigns is coming back, so I don't think they're going to reintroduce Roman Reigns and go with him and Seth Rollins again, because they haven't thrown any hints that he's coming back. So I really don't know what's going to happen both with Bray Wyatt and with Seth Rollins, because is Dean Ambrose going to go after both of them, or is he going to go after one while the other person doing something else? But I don't know. So that's what we're going to see and find out tomorrow on Raw. So the other Hell in a Cell match was thrown in the middle, because, you know, you don't want both Hell in a Cell matches going back to back. So it was Cena going up against Orton, and this was actually a really good match for their standards. The only thing I would complain about is there was a couple times where you could hear Cena calling a spot. You couldn't really hear what he was saying, but you know he was saying something, which, you know, you gotta calm that down. You guys are professionals. Come on. So a lot of different weapons. Another table spot. Steel steps. Orton was outside the ring, and Cena took the steel step and freaking launched him at Orton's head. and Orton moved out of the way at the last second. It was pretty cool. And then there was RKO. There was an attitude adjustment into an RKO. Yeah, so Cena had Orton on his shoulders, flipped him over, and hit him with and then Orton hit him with the RKO. But the finish was that an attitude adjustment through the table. I think that was like the fourth one. Yeah, it's like the fourth attitude adjustment. So we're gonna get Cena versus Lesnar 3 for the title. Woohoo! So I don't know how they're gonna make that interesting, but we're gonna have to stay tuned to find out. Don't know if it's gonna be a Survivor Series, TLC, Royal Rumble, or I don't know. So let's see what happens. So then, opening match was Dolph Ziggler up against Cesaro, 2 out of 3 falls match, and this wasn't the best match of the show. It was a good match, but it wasn't like their match they had on Raw, I think, that I really liked. Like their matches that they just have singles match, they just have one fall matches that they go 15 minutes, are really good. This match was good, but it just didn't get to that next gear where, you know, it's like false finish or like cool move. One move that I really liked was Cesaro did. He's basically like Ziggler had him like in an arm bar or some sort of submission. He was like latched onto him, and then Cesaro walked up the turnbuckles and then suplexed him out of that. So he like grabbed him and suplexed him off the top rope and the middle rope. That was pretty cool. But Ziggler, like, he got him in 2 straight falls. You don't really see that in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Usually it's like 1, then 1, and then, you know, 1. So Dolph Ziggler won, clean sweep. Looks like it might be the end of this feud because both of them were pretty clean. The first one was a roll-up, but then the second one he hit him with a zigzag. Pretty sure it's been a long time since that happened. A couple hours, and so then Ziggler won. So next up, I don't know what the order is. I just wrote down what happened, so forgive me if this is out of order, but Nikki went up against Brie, and it was the other person. Whoever loses is the other person's personal assistant for a month. So, Nikki won. Wasn't really much this match. It was what you would think. Brie did a suicide dive on a Nikki Bella, which is actually a pretty nice move, and I haven't seen her done that before. And Nikki went to go grab her shin, which she has a past issue of shin injuries, which I thought, oh, maybe she did hurt it, but the referee didn't come out or even check up on her, so I was like, oh, all right, she didn't really hurt it. So Nikki hit 2 rack attacks on Brie for the win. And then later on in the show, they did a skit where Brie was confirming a dinner reservation or a hotel or something. And so then she throws all the luggage in Nikki's rent-a-car, and she has a smoothie, and Nikki's like, oh, did you get did you get it right? I wanted like 4 blueberries and 3 strawberries and 2 bananas or something like that. And it's like, oh. And so then she takes it and dumps it on Brie's head. And it's like, oh, go get me mine. That was yours, so now go get me mine. So that's basically, if you saw my predictions, that's basically what I predicted. Where she was like, oh, I want a pumpkin spice latte. But you already have one. I don't care, bitch. I want another one. So we're going to get skits like that for another month. So whoop-de-doo. Next up, we have the Rhodes Brothers starring Goldust up against the Usos. Really good match. I would say this was probably my favorite match of the night. Best match of the night. Because Rollins and Ambrose was a close second. But I like actual wrestling. I'm not much into the hardcore stuff because I haven't seen everything. But, I've seen like people go through tables and stuff. So I just like good, hard-fought, tactical wrestling. That's what we got here. And the finish was one of the Usos was fighting Goldust, and they were about to do something to him, and then Stardust kicked like the back of their knee, and then his leg gave out, and then Goldust hit a move on him. Don't know what it's really called. It kind of looked like the Crossroads, sort of. But so then he got that. They got the 1, 2, 3, and that was that. So Rhodes Brothers retain the title. Don't really know what's going to go on after this. It wasn't a clean win, but it wasn't, extremely cheating like that. Especially when JBL's like, oh my gosh, that's how you do it. You gotta, do stuff behind the referee's back. And JBL and Lawler aren't even saying anything. They're not even like, oh my gosh, why was he doing that? Even though, like, technically it's not illegal, I guess, but, it's not the right thing to do. So, another title match, we got AJ going up against Paige, and AJ won this match. Decent Divas match, definitely best Divas match of the night, especially when it's AJ against Paige. But what happened was they were on the outside, and then Paige was like gonna do something on the barricade, but then AJ's leg swept her legs out from under this, and she fell, and so she almost won by count out. But then Alicia Fox like picked up Paige and threw her back in the ring, even though I thought that was a disqualification because the managers aren't supposed to touch the persons, but whatever. So then AJ gets her and puts her in a Black Widow real quick, and Paige taps out like that. So then Alicia, I kind of stepped away, but I saw the aftermath. Paige slapped Alicia Fox, so maybe this will lead to a Paige Alicia Fox match. Don't know what AJ is going to do, because this feud's been going on since the day after WrestleMania, sort of. But don't know what they're going to do after this, so just have to, as I said, stay tuned and find out. So another match we had involving a championship was the U.S. Championship with Sheamus and The Miz. Good match. Just everything on the show was good. Wasn't really great. But Damien Mizdow stole the show once again, or stole the match once again, being up to his old antics. He was doing all these other stuff and just being an idiot, which was hilarious. But they kind of took a little too far at the end. When Sheamus won, Miz was knocked out. He started like playing with Miz's dead body basically, and Sandow was mimicking everything the Miz did. So then they did the whole YMCA thing, which was really stupid, and JBL was going all over the top doing what JBL does. So it's kind of annoying. So last match we got to talk about is Rusev going up against Big Show. Big Show trying to defend America, and Big Show let us down. Rusev won again with the accolade, got Big Show to tap out, even though the camera, you couldn't actually see Big Show tap out, so I don't know if it was a pass out. I don't know, the camera work wasn't on point to it, because it was like a transition. Like when they were transitioning the camera is when the match ended, so I don't know if he passed out or he tapped out, but whatever. It is what it is. Mark Henry came out, so I was scared they were going to do something with Mark Henry, turn it on Big Show or something, but that never happened. So Big Show just lost. Everyone was all sad. Don't know what's going to happen to America. Russia's running wild. Maybe Rusev gets the United States Championship and just, disgraces America even more. So that's basically what we got. It was a good show. Maybe give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7. I'll give it a 7. What the hell? So, the stream I was watching on the WWE Network, the stream it never cut out, but it like paused right at the end of the tag team title match, which was like pissing me off because like, oh my god, it's gonna be over and I'm gonna miss it. But then like it paused, but it didn't like fast forward to it being live. It just paused for like 10 seconds, and it just kept going to where it was. So that was basically it. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, whatever you do to YouTube video, do it to this one. Tell me what you guys thought about Hell in a Cell. If you guys watched on the WWE Network, did you guys have any issues with your stream? So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys later.